All right, so I'm here with Mr. Mike Curry out of South Carolina, and Mike just had a pretty wild experience. He actually just filed his first death claim. Mike, can you tell us a little bit more about this client and just why this was such a powerful experience for you?
Yeah, Jamie. I was actually out at the home about 3 months or 3 weeks ago, and going out there, I was at the house for 2 hours. It wasn't the easiest appointment I've ever done. Um, I remember going through the application and just asking some questions about their situation, and I can't mention names obviously, but the wife was on disability, and the husband um, was at that point ready and within a few days to go on disability, so he was losing his work insurance that he had. That's all he had prior, so basically they were uninsured. um, and I remember sitting down with them, um, and just going through the typical, if something happens to Kenneth here yesterday, right? What would your situation look like? And just really filling out the situation and going through the why, and understanding that, she wouldn't be able to stay in the home, um, much less pay for. He wanted to be cremated, so much less pay for the cremation, but wouldn't be able to stay in the home, wouldn't be able to basically pay the bills, right? Because she's on disability, gets very little income, and they were both, they knew they needed it, but they were very hesitant because they didn't know what his income was going to be. Um, and so when working with them, I remember, and you can stop me here if you want to ask any questions, but just to keep going, I remember, looking at their situation. I'm like, okay, so if Kenneth is the primary breadwinner, let's look at making sure he has the most coverage. Whereas, like, let's get you the minimal, as much as you can afford, but let's make his policy the beefy one, right? The one where you're kind of throwing more money at, because that's going to be where the impact is. So, a couple of times through that conversation, they were like, we want to wait. We want to wait. And, and I pushed through. I'm like, look, we don't even know if he's approved yet. Let's get this on the books here, and we can make a decision. We got 30 days to make a decision, basically. Let's think this through, see if he's approved, and we'll go back to that. Um, and, we did. And then here, I think the text was the 12th. So it was a few days, maybe it was at about a week before I was there. Yeah. So there's the text. And so that was a couple of days later. That was one of my first Aetna policies. That was through her. And she actually texted me there that Friday. And I took a couple of days off. My granddad came down to visit my daughter for the first time, and I took a long weekend off. And she had texted me this here, telling me that they wanted to cancel the insurance, and ride it, as you can see there, ride it out a little longer. And busy, forgot about it, didn't get back to her right away, kind of ignored it there, figured I'd call it on Monday, right? And I forgot to call her, and she never reached back out to me. And then earlier today, we're dialing, booking some appointments, and got other clients to call. And she called me while I was on the phone with another client. Anyway, called her back, and she was in tears, and she's like, she wanted to make sure that I didn't cancel it. And I'm like, I honestly, like, I'm so sorry. Because when she called me, she was like, did you cancel? She was kind of, you could tell she was upset, but I mean, I didn't know. I just thought she was calling to cancel it for sure. And it's like, no, I'm so sorry, I haven't got around to it. My granddad was here, blah blah blah. And then she, went on to tell me that, like, he passed away. I can't remember. She said last night or this morning, within the last 24, 36 hours. He passed away, had a massive heart attack, and he was 56 years old.
Wild,
Perfectly, I
man.
mean, yeah.
That's wild. So 56 years old. And I remember you told me that this was a guy who kind of gave you a little bit of a hard time in the home. And he was like, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'll be fine.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, that's wild. You never know what's going to happen. And it's crazy that she wanted to cancel the policy, it looks like 10 days ago. And, it must be a God thing because, for whatever reason, I know you normally get back on your policies, you cancel these things really quickly, but the fact that you didn't, I mean, that means that, now she's going to get, I think it was like $10,000. She put in like one premium payment of $47, and now her family's going to get $10,000, and that was $10,000 that's going to allow her to stay in the home and pay for his final expenses. Whereas, the other scenario is that she was going to lose the home and have to figure out how to pay for those final expenses. So, I mean, it's just so powerful, man. I know you were a little bit shooken up earlier when we talked about it, but it just shows how important what we do really is, and how important it is that, now next time that you sit down with a 35-year-old guy, a 50-year-old woman, somebody that comes to you and says, I'm good, I'm healthy, I don't think I need it. I mean, how much is that going to affect you now moving forward when you sit down with those people?
Well, yeah, it's going to be huge because, previously it's just, it's not real yet. Right. I mean, obviously, I've experienced loss. I lost my mom, when I was 9 years old to a car accident. So like, I understand like going to bed, with a parent, mother, whatever, and waking up without one. So that's real to me. But that was also 20 years ago, but I haven't had that happen in a home yet. I'm still kind of new. Um, but it's like, I remember where I was. I know it sounds crazy, but I remember where I was sitting. I remember the conversations. I remember the atmosphere, the thoughts, the discussions. Um, and it's always, it comes, sometimes it comes across like scripty, right? When we're trying to like, stand up for the family or whatever you want to call it, right? But like, that's what we're doing. Um, and if you're new, and sometimes like you look at it, you're going there to help people, but until you really feel the impact of actually helping them, and being able to know that like, I protected that, I like, and I don't want to make it about me, but like we protected that family. And if I would have left there, or I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just, it's powerful that, what we do, what you said, what we do matters. And
It
it's
really
not,
does, man.
just a job.
It really does. And I mean, one of my first mentors, Glenn Polson, Grady Polson's dad, when I first got into this industry, he told me, Jamie, life insurance is the most honorable profession on the planet. And I didn't really understand what he meant. And he said, Jamie, you just need to understand that at the end of somebody's life, after you've protected a family, everybody is reaching their hand out saying, what do you got for us? You got to pay for the cremation. You need to pay for final expenses. You need to pay for estate taxes. You need to pay and pay and pay and pay. And everyone's got their hand out saying, hey, you need to do this for this person. And you're already in the process of mourning. And he said, Jamie, you're going to be the only guy in their life that has your hand reaching back with something, giving something, not
Yeah.
taking something from their family. And I just thought that was so powerful, man. So it's a wild experience. And I mean, this truly is, not just the best business ever from, a financial perspective, but, now, you got to offer this family hope, hope for the future. And I think that's so powerful, man. So I appreciate you sharing that story with us, man. I know that family is forever grateful to you, and just such a wild experience, man.
Yeah, and it's also, I will mention too, it's just a shout out to FFL for the training. Like sometimes, like you said, we look at it sometimes as a job, but like to be able to get people in the field this quickly with the training to go protect families that, maybe other places or whatever, it would take 6 to 9 months. Whereas like if I was new somewhere else, I may not have all the skill set to be able to protect families right away. So, just something else to consider.